The Apostle Paul said in 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 13, he says, "Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest of mankind who have no hope." Something we've all experienced, something we all will experience, is the pain of grief, the pain of losing a loved one. It may be through death, it may be through a broken relationship, or it may even be through that Alzheimer's. It may be that you're overwhelmed with grief, what the world would call chronic grief, that grief that just will not go away. And again, as we talk about leaving light, hope, and joy in the world, there are so many people around us perhaps overwhelmed by grief. The Apostle Paul is saying to us here that we do not have to grieve like the rest of mankind. He says that therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we're wasting away, yet inwardly we're being renewed day by day. Jesus said that if I go, I will come back because I'm preparing a place for you. We do not have to grieve like the world, who have no hope, who have no joy of reunion with our loved ones. You see, grief, even for believers, although we can grieve differently, grief is real and grief is right. You are losing someone precious and dear. There is an empty space for you. And the Bible tells us that there is a time to weep and a time to mourn. Grief is bitter and it is sweet because you may have had unfinished business, and it is bitter. It may be bitter you never got to say goodbye as you had wished. It may create some bitter moments that can overwhelm us. But it is sweet that God can bring honey from the rock, as it says in Psalm 81 verse 16. He can bring blessing out of the hard time. It is sweet because you have those pleasant memories that you will once again share with those in glory. See, God promises, and this is what is so important as we started this new teaching on being overwhelmed. God promises so clearly that He will be near the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. If you're overwhelmed with grief, if the grief you carry will not go away, listen, God is by your side and He will help you with those moments. He will guide you with those moments. This unique and special promise that God is close to the brokenhearted. He even says that He will heal the wounds. Psalm 147 verse 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. You don't need to rush it when it comes to grief. When it comes, it won't be in any way diminishing of the preciousness of the person who has been taken away from you when God begins to heal and restore. You see, God promises that joy will come in the morning. With all of the loss that people feel they cannot get over, there will come a time when God will bring His joy to stir in our hearts. You see, favour is for a lifetime, He says in Psalm 30 and verse 5. Weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes with the morning. This is not about a clock, going to bed and waking up happy, going to bed sad and waking up happy. It is not about that. It's a statement that God does not leave His children, His people, indefinitely in grief. He will bring His joy in the morning. He will heal and bind up broken hearts because God is near. God is close to those who He calls His own. We have the hope that the world does not have. but the world around us is walking that dark road without God. Let us bring the hope. Let us bring the peace. Let us bring the joy. We often hear, I don't know how people get through it without Jesus. Well, nor do I. But we can bring Jesus to them in their moments of grief, when overwhelmed. We can bring the healer of broken hearts. God bless you in Jesus' name.